What if I told you that America's most talked about firearm starts as just a simple steel bar? Today, we're going behind the locked doors of a 300,000 square foot facility that produces over 40,000 rifles every year. But here's what'll blow your mind. What you think you know about how these are made. Well, you're completely wrong. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens when raw steel meets a 1,000-ton hammer forge. Before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe to Hunt and Fire for more exclusive manufacturing content like this. The shocking truth about AR-15 origins. Here's something that'll blow your mind. The AR-15 wasn't originally designed for civilians at all. Back in the 1950s, a genius engineer named Eugene Stoner was tasked with creating the ultimate lightweight military rifle using revolutionary aluminum technology that nobody else was using. But here's the crazy part. In 1959, Armalite actually sold their design to Colt for just $75,000. That's like selling Apple for pocket change today. Colt modified it, creating the M16, and it became the backbone of the Vietnam War. Meanwhile, the civilian AR-15, it collected dust for decades. Fast forward to today. There are over 24 million AR-15s in civilian hands. That's more than the total number of Ford F-150s on American roads. But here's what nobody talks about. The manufacturing process has evolved into something Eugene Stoner never could have imagined. Step 1. Where digital meets deadly precision. Everything starts in cyberspace. These aren't your typical 3D models. We're talking about digital blueprints, where every measurement is calculated to within 0.0001 inches. That's thinner than a human hair. But here's the insane part. They don't just design the parts. They digitally stress test them thousands of times before they ever touch real metal. Watch this simulation. They're virtually firing 100,000 rounds to see where the metal will fail. Then comes the material lottery. Not all steel is created equal. Every batch gets tested with machines that can detect impurities at the molecular level. They're literally X-raying the steel to make sure that there are no hidden flaws that could cause catastrophic failure. See that bin? Those are thousands of dollars worth of perfectly good steel that didn't meet their standards. Most manufacturers would use it anyway. Not here. Step 2. The $2 million barrel birth process. Now we witness something that costs more than most people's houses. This gun drill machine. It costs over $2 million. And you're about to see why. Watch this steel bar. In 60 seconds, it's going to be completely transformed. The drill bit you're seeing? It's spinning at 1,200 RPM while simultaneously feeding through solid steel. The precision required here is absolutely insane. But here's what's really wild. That hole has to be perfectly straight for up to 24 inches. We're talking about a tolerance of less than 0.002 inches over the entire length. To put that in perspective, if you scaled this up to the size of a football field, your margin of error would be less than an inch. Next comes the honing. And this is where it gets almost artistic. They're polishing the inside of that barrel to a mirror finish using diamond-embedded tools. Any microscopic imperfection will send bullets tumbling instead of flying straight. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, the hammer forge. This machine weighs about 50 tons and hits with the force of a small earthquake in just 4 minutes. It's going to do something that seems impossible. Watch carefully as those massive hammers pound the barrel. They're literally beating the rifling pattern into the steel. The barrel actually grows longer during this process. What starts as a 14-inch piece becomes a 16-inch barrel. The metal flows like clay, but when it's done, it's harder than it ever was before. Before we go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. Step 3. Robots versus human craftsmen. Welcome to the future of manufacturing. These CNC machines are like mechanical surgeons, each one capable of performing operations that would take a human hours in just minutes. Watch this gas block being born. That machine is making 47 different cuts, drilling 6 holes and creating 3 different surface finishes, all without human intervention. The program running this took 40 hours to write and test. But here's where it gets crazy. Some of these machines have 12 different axes of movement. They can literally machine a part from every angle simultaneously. It's like watching a mechanical octopus with surgical precision. These Swiss turning machines, they can hold tolerances of 0.0002 inches while creating parts that have over 20 different features. That's precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker jealous. And now robots are doing quality control too. This robot can measure a part in 200 different places in under 30 seconds. It's looking for flaws that human eyes couldn't even see. But here's the beautiful part. Humans aren't being replaced, they're being elevated. The skilled machinists here are programming these robots and solving complex problems, handling the intricate work that still requires human intuition and experience. Step 4. The assembly artists. Meet Jim. He's been building rifles for over 15 years, and his hands know things that no machine ever will. Every rifle that comes through here gets the personal touch of someone who understands that perfection isn't negotiable. Watch now as he installs this trigger group. There are 8 different ways to do it wrong, and only one way to do it right. The difference between a safe rifle and a dangerous one often comes down to details like this. Here's something most people will never see: headspace gauging. They're measuring the exact distance between the bolt face and the chamber. Too tight, and the rifle won't fire. Too loose, and it's dangerous. The acceptable range? Just 0.006 inches. Every single function gets tested. The safety, the trigger, the bolt operation, the magazine fit. Nothing leaves this station without Jim's personal approval. He's rejected rifles that looked perfect because something didn't feel right. The final inspection uses 10 times magnification to check for flaws invisible to the naked eye. They're looking at finish quality, machining marks, anything that might affect performance or durability. Step 5. Testing that would terrify you. Now comes the moment of truth. But this isn't your typical shooting test. They're using equipment that costs more than most people's cars to verify performance. This chronograph measures bullet velocity to within 1 foot per second. They're not just checking if it shoots. They're verifying that every shot performs exactly the same as the last one. Consistency is everything. But the real test happens in these environmental chambers. Minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 160 degree Fahrenheit temperature swings. Humidity from desert dry to tropical storm levels. They're simulating conditions that would make most humans give up. Watch this. They're literally burying rifles in mud, sand, and debris, then seeing if they still function. This isn't gentle testing. They're trying to make these rifles fail in every way imaginable. The endurance testing is particularly brutal. Some rifles fire thousands of rounds nonstop until the barrel glows red hot. Others get dropped, thrown, and subjected to impacts that would destroy most equipment. Every test generates data that gets analyzed by engineers. They're not just looking for pass or fail. They're studying how performance changes over time, identifying potential weak points before they become real problems. The mind-blowing innovation never stops. But here's what really shocked me. 20% of this facility is dedicated to research and development. They're not just making rifles, they're constantly reinventing how rifles are made. In this room, they're testing materials that don't even have names yet. Alloys that are 40% lighter, but twice as strong. Manufacturing techniques that could revolutionize the entire industry. 5 years ago, Making one barrel took 8 hours. Today, they can make 3 barrels in that same time with better quality, and they're not stopping there. The goal is to cut that time in half again while improving quality even further. But perhaps the most impressive is their safety culture. 0 recordable injuries for over a year in a facility that handles heavy machinery, high-pressure systems, and precision tools. That's not luck. That's a commitment to doing things right. From raw steel bar to precision rifle. You just witnessed pure engineering magic. But here's the crazy part. This factory is already working on technology that'll make today's process look ancient. What blew your mind? That 1,000-ton hammer forge? The fact that tolerances are thinner than a human hair? Or maybe that robots are now doing quality control better than humans? Drop your thoughts below. Smash that like button and subscribe for more exclusive factory tours. We've got some mind-blowing facilities coming up that you won't want to miss.